Hello and welcome to the Orlando World Sunday Showdown round of 16. In this week's show, we have one of the most opinion-divided battles with two of Disney's mountain rides, with the wonderful Splash Mountain going head-to-head with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Let's take a quick look at both of these attractions. Splash Mountain is the iconic log flume mountain ride based on the 1946 film Song of the South, opening at Magic Kingdom in the Frontierland area on the 2nd of October 1992. It's one of the most iconic rides at Disney World, with a fun-filled mix of music and colourful scenes, and the soak factor from the ride's 5 drop sections. The ride is one of 3 variations of Splash Mountain, with the Magic Kingdom version featuring the most splash sections and the longest duration of each of them, meaning that it's most likely the best version of the ride, which has captured the imaginations of millions of riders over the last 28 years. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is Runaway Mine Train roller coaster ride located within the Frontierland section of Magic Kingdom, which opened on the 23rd of September 1980. It was originally part of a concept area of Magic Kingdom, which would have been known as the Western River Expedition, a much larger version of what became Frontierland, which much of the area due to be themed around the Wild Western wilderness, but was scrapped due to the budget of Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Thunder Mountain is exactly what it claims to be, the wildest ride in the wilderness, with a fast-paced ride up and down the mountainside, dipping through caverns and twisting round blind corners, in one of the most enjoyable family-friendly rides at Disney World. Now let's head into this week's contest as we head straight into round 1. Splash Mountain is one of Disney's best-themed attractions, which has lasted the test of time for almost 3 decades. The unmistakable red rock mountain faces, along with the iconic 52.5-foot drop slide, plummeting into the creek below, give off an instantaneous feeling of grandeur, along with the incredible theming inside the intricate mountain, with a never-ending flurry of some of Disney's most colourful and imaginative show scenes. The ride is themed on the Song of the South, following the story of Brer Rabbit, who leaves home in search of adventure, and continuously tries to evade capture from Brer Bear and Brer Fox. Splash Mountain features a wonderful soundtrack which resonates throughout the entire ride, with 5 gravity-defying drops, with the anticipation increasing throughout the ride. It's one of the best themed attractions at Disney World. Similar to Splash Mountain, the iconic red rock structure of Thunder Mountain is also one of the iconic rides within Frontierland. The main difference from Splash Mountain is it's a roller coaster ride, which is themed to the Big Thunder Mountain Mining Company, which was located around a gold mine. The storyline declared that the town was abandoned after flash floods and that the mine trains became possessed and rattle around uncontrollably throughout Thunder Mountain. The ride is detailed well, but features more natural theming than that of Splash Mountain, which features a full animatronic showcase. Meaning in the first round, just narrowly, Splash Mountain just comes out ahead for having a little better theming than the railroad attraction, as we move on now to round 2. Splash Mountain was originally going to be a higher capacity ride for a log flume ride, but this was revised after safety concerns were raised when the ride was developed. With the ride having 5 drop sections, the capacity was limited to allow for a safer transition between drops. Each log is capable of carrying 8 passengers, in 4 rows of 2, with dozens of logs running around the flumes in each cycle, bringing in a respectable 1,200 riders per hour. Thunder Mountain, by comparison, being a roller coaster, is mostly only restricted by the track layout, which does keep the capacity a little lower than it could be. With a very tight and twisted track layout, the runaway mine trains needed to be kept a bit shorter to allow the trains more freedom when moving around the track, increasing the power and unpredictable nature of the ride. There are several trains operating at one time, with each train running 5 carts, each train having 10 rows, seating people in rows of up to 3, for a total of 30 riders per train, meaning the ride had an operational capacity of 2,400 riders. So at around double the capacity to Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad levels the score going into round 3. Splash Mountain at Magic Kingdom is the longest in terms of duration out of all 3 versions of the ride at Disney parks. The ride passes by at a fairly pedestrian pace, using the power of the water pumps to float the logs around the mountain structure, and with a series of pulley systems taking the flumes up and around the iconic structure. The animatronic show scenes last a few minutes each as you drift through each section, taking in the sights and sounds of the story in preparation for the next round of inevitable splash zones. The ride lasts an impressive 11 minutes and 45 seconds, which is one of the longest durations of a water-based attraction within the Disney resort. It passes by rather slowly, which does give riders a lot of ride value for the duration. Thunder Mountain is a fast and frantic rally around the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad circuit. For nearly 3.5 minutes, riders are taken on a wild journey through the western wilderness, through caverns, caves, tunnels, and a treacherous rocky mountain railroad, with water geysers spurting plumes of water, all while rattling around on the bare-knuckle ride. The ride passes by fairly quickly. Despite the trains running at approximately 35 miles per hour, it certainly feels much quicker than it really is, with fans of the attraction keen for it to run a bit longer, or be themed similarly to Splash Mountain or Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, adding a bit more length to the ride time. But in round 3, easily claiming the point, Splash Mountain takes the lead again going into the penultimate round. Despite having the longest ride duration and the most flume drops of any of the Splash Mountain versions, the Magic Kingdom version is actually the smallest in terms of its overall ride length. Clocking in at almost 200 feet less than Tokyo version and just 40 feet shy of the Disneyland version in California, at 2,600 feet, the ride is one of the longest log flume attractions in Orlando. But what is mostly impressive about Splash Mountain is the sheer amount of detail which is crammed into the space, with an impressive level of detail, making the ride look and feel much bigger than it actually is, which is remarkable for a near 3 decades old attraction. But what Splash Mountain was able to achieve was respectfully just as achievable on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, with the runaway train ride being the blueprint for the water ride. Surprisingly though, the area of both attractions is so similar in size, with the roller coaster taking up more of the external area than Splash Mountain. The track is much wider than the water ride, and feels like a far bigger attraction. Despite this though, what is even more surprising is that Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is only 71 feet longer than the water ride. Meaning in this round, to level the score for the second time, Thunder Mountain takes us into an all-deciding 5th and final round. Let's move on to round 5. There's been many a debate over the years over which of Disney's mountain rides is the best, which each rightfully having their share of fan favourites. But Splash Mountain has managed to find itself as one of the highest rated attractions within the resort. What it lacks in terms of overall thrill that you get from the coaster rides, it more than makes up in excitement, from the charming story, the fantastic theming throughout the ride, and one of the most memorable soundtracks to an attraction anywhere in the world. The ride is fairly tame as it slowly passes by the show scenes, but does add a suspenseful element throughout as you anticipate the inevitable drop sections and the copious amount of splash zones which are guaranteed to get you drenched. It's a charming attraction which is highly regarded as one of the greatest Disney rides of all time. Thunder Mountain holds more of an actual thrill in terms of the ride itself, with a frantic pace to a quirky and unpredictable ride. For a family coaster it certainly packs a serious amount of punch. However, although it does have that magical charm we come to expect from Disney rides, it lacks a lot of what Splash Mountain improves on. The ride itself is still one of the best attractions, and is so much fun, but it just lacks the ultimate thrill overall which Splash Mountain achieves with being better as an all-round attraction, bringing fun and fear, with the added element of water, just taking the attraction to just a bit of a high thrill level overall compared to Thunder Mountain. Which means in round 5, the log flume ride take the final point this week. So after all 5 rounds, we do not have a conclusive winner this week. Meaning that unfortunately Big Thunder Mountain Railroad runs away from the competition. The ride is such an important part of Disney parks, and is such a wonderful attraction which encapsulates everything about what Disney does to create the wonderful once-in-a-lifetime experience. Big Thunder Mountain will rumble and rattle on for many more decades to come, and is such a special attraction that continues to thrill guests over and over. Splash Mountain advances to the next round. Join us next week for yet another incredible contest between Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey as it battles Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance. See you next week. We hope you enjoy this video. Please support us by subscribing to our channel. You can find us on social media platforms. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Orlando Worlds, and on Instagram at The Orlando Worlds. Thanks for watching.